Deuteronomy 30:7, it says, "And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee." I like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shati from the Chicago camp coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And this scripture was inspired by a video I saw on CNN, and it says, "I'm shaking right now. CNN reporter describes 3 racist attacks within an hour." And so I was just kind of curious, and so I had a chance to watch the video, and it's very amusing, put it to you that way. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play a few minutes, and then we'll get some more scripture to close it out.
Racist rhetoric against Asians and Asian Americans has become a real problem in the U.S. amid the coronavirus that originated in China. The president is promoting this kind of language. He refers to and has referred to the virus as the China virus, as the Kung flu. And Asian Americans are reporting an increase in racist encounters. After one of my CNN colleagues, Ammon Walker, experienced 3 such incidents during just one trip to New Orleans International Airport, she talked about it online, on Twitter. She wrote, quote, "I hate that I have to say this, but I belong. We Asian Americans belong. I was born and raised in the U.S. I am as American as apple pie, and I am as American as Korean barbecue. I am American. Please don't question me about that fact, ever." Ammon Walker is joining us now. Amra, thank you for writing about this. I think this was so important for people to understand what a lot of Asians and Asian Americans in the U.S. have been going through. Tell us what happened to you.
And that's why I wrote about it. You know, I wanted to be a voice for so many of us Asian Americans who don't speak out when these kinds of things happen. And I do want to say, Brianna, if I had encountered just one racially charged incident yesterday, I wouldn't have probably posted about it. But it was the fact that it happened back to back to back within a span of an hour, Brianna, is what really shook me to my core. And right now I have to admit I'm shaking right now. I still can't believe that we went through this, that I went through this. Okay, so here's what happened. First incident, I'm walking through the airport. An older gentleman stops, he pulls down his mask, looks at me, and says ni hao, which is hello in Chinese, and then ching chong, which is a racial slur that's been used for decades. And I was stunned. I mean, this has happened to me before, sadly, but every time it happens, it shocks me. And like I've done in the past, I just kept walking. I didn't know what to say. And he walked away, and the more I thought about it, my blood was just boiling. And thankfully, I ran into him inside the terminal. He was standing right behind me when I was trying to buy souvenirs for my husband and daughter. And I turned around and I said to him in a really stern voice, I said, "Do you understand what you said to me was racist and it was racially charged? Do you understand, sir?" And he kind of looked at me with a smug look, and he just said, I don't know what you're talking about," and he walked away.
Wow.
And so then I walked to the gate where my producer was sitting, and I was like, "You won't believe what just happened. I'm really upset. Here's what happened." And I'm not kidding. As if on cue, literally within like 5 minutes, a young man walks up right in front of me while I'm sitting at my gate, and he's not wearing a mask. He comes right up to my face and says, "Hey, do you speak English?" And I was like, I can't believe this is happening. And the first thing, I mean, I shot back immediately because I was already angry, and I said to him, "Why would you assume that I don't speak English? Tell me, why would you assume I don't speak English?" And he said, well, no, what language do you speak?" And I said, "Well, obviously English, but I also speak Spanish," because I knew he was expecting that I would say Chinese or Japanese or Korean. Anyway, I mean, and then he started to mumble and speak incoherently. It sounded like he was mocking the Asian language. My producer was really disturbed by all this, and also the people who were sitting at the gate started yelling at him to get away from me, because I kept telling him, "You gotta leave me alone. We're in a pandemic, you know, put on a mask."
Because he was getting close, he was not wearing a mask, and he was getting close to you.
Exactly, right? You know, and so he was in my personal space.
And then your producer basically got security, right? Got a police officer, and then what happened?
Yeah, he interjected, and so the officer, this is where, talk about pouring salt into a gaping wound, right? I mean, I told the officer what happened, Brianna, and my producer, who was upset, said, Yeah, and this guy was saying racial slurs to her. Can you believe that? The police officer stopped. He approached my producer, literally, again, almost nose to nose, and again, we're in a pandemic. And he said very angrily, that is not racist. Asking someone if they speak English, that is not racist, okay? Do you understand me? And I mean, this police officer was, I would say, 6'4", I mean, he was huge. And I was intimidated. Everyone around us was watching. My poor producer was, both nervous and scared. And we said, okay, fine, it wasn't racist. And he walked away. They did track him down, but, I was so shaken by all of this and so disturbed that my producer kind of shooed me onto the plane and said, just you got to get away from this, but yeah. I do want to say that my producer was extremely defensive of me, and also there was about 5 or 6 people who were sitting at the gate who came to my defense and were apologizing for no reason. They had nothing to apologize for, but they expressed their shock.
Yeah, I mean, it's thank goodness that they were there also just to kind of back you up and support you.
Yeah. Oh my. Somebody of the Asian persuasion is being racially attacked. Well, join the club. All right. See, if there's one thing that Israelites know, even some of them that are not in the truth, we know that bad Uncle Esau doesn't see any other nation as equal to him. Not even his own damn kinsmen. And to prove that, guess who owns the majority of the world's wealth? It's definitely not all Edomites. Right? That's why we have that expression of the so-called 1%, because you have the tribe of, or the clan of Amalek. They are the ones that have been hoarding all the world's wealth and all the world's information. They are the only ones for quite a long period of time who were privy to the inside joke. They are the only ones who have really been taking advantage of the blessing. And they left the majority of their own other tribesmen out of the blessing. So if he will do that much to his own people, if he doesn't even see the majority of his own nation of people as equal, how much less you? Because you got to know, if we know that Asians, so-called Asians, are the product of incest, okay, you better believe bad Uncle Esau knows it too. And so that's why we're going to get the scripture. Be good to, basically, if a man can't be good to himself, who can he be good to? I believe it's in Ecclesiasticus, but I could be wrong. Let me put it on pause and find it. This is Ecclesiasticus 14:5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Like I said, this devil doesn't even see the majority of his people as equal. All right, so how much less you? So for you to feel like you've made something big in America because you're not under the curses and you've had a pretty good life, hey, don't get it confused. You're still a incest Down syndrome baby. Nobody cares. And the mere fact that you're shocked at this type of behavior, it's like, where have you been? Have you not seen or read the books that deals with the inception of America and how it's prided itself on racial discrimination? Do you forget how there was a time where you had Asians building railroads for bad Uncle Esau, and they were hooked on opium? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that wasn't very long ago. So why would you not expect racial discrimination to still be taking place in America, and especially against you? See, Moab is very, if she is a Moabite, she didn't necessarily say what her nationality was, but whether she's Moab or Ammon, it still doesn't matter. How much you try to assimilate into bad Uncle Esau's way of life and culture, you'll still never be equal, and you'll still be discriminated against. And in these last days, the Lord is increasing that discrimination against you all. Because just as bad Uncle Esau is getting exposed, hey, you clowns are getting exposed too, for being in cahoots with him. Because you all have done your share of damage to us as well. All you have to do is read the book of the Judges. All right, we're going to go to this last scripture and close it out. I got to find it, so let me put it on pause. All right, I'm going to start in Jeremiah 48. It says, Jeremiah 48 and 29, it says, "We have heard the pride of Moab. He is exceedingly proud, his loftiness and his arrogance and his pride and the haughtiness of his heart." Like I said, these Moabites think that, these Ammonites, they think just because they're not under the curses and that, they can get all these big business loans and things of that nature, that they're on the same level with bad Uncle Esau, but you're not. And you walk around arrogant, like your stuff don't stink, until you encounter a situation like this, when reality kicks you in the butt, where folks let you know, hey, you still a incest Down syndrome baby. Go somewhere and have a seat. And see, the more this current society degenerates into nothingness, hey man, these things are only going to increase upon the nation of Moab and Ammon. Especially because, as the scripture says, you also touch the apple of the Lord's eye. Psalm the 83rd chapter. So, for you so-called Ammonite, well, not so-called, but for you Ammonites and you Moabites, for you to just make a big deal about, oh, I'm being so racially oppressed and racially harassed, I can't believe this. Like I said before, join the club. And as they so eloquently like to tell us Israelites, oh well, get over it, that's in the past. So with that being said, I hope you all were edified. Until the next time, shalom.